Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'm going to present myself. I'm here on behalf of our master in Sanatana Dharma, Sadhguru Madhavacharya. He couldn't come. He was willing to come, but it was impossible. But he is delighted to have someone here to present him, to be here on behalf of him. Okay? So I'm going to go on with my lecture. Life in evolution. When I was young, I was impressed by a television program in which José Miguel Barandiarán was interviewed. José Miguel was a priest, a Catholic priest, anthropologist, ethnologist, and archaeologist from the Basque Country in Spain. He was one of the most prestigious authors in anthropology, ethnography, and culture of the Basques. His work has influenced many later works. In this interview, José Miguel was speaking about evolution. So I put my ear on, and he said the following. Life sleeps in the mineral kingdom, dreams in the plant kingdom, awakens in the animal kingdom, and becomes self-conscious in human being, in human kingdom. So I like this, and I said, what? That was the first time for me to hear something about like that. So I wrote a note and I kept it. I said, well, what's this? When I went to Sanatana Dharma school, Madhavacharya was saying the same thing. First day of my course, and he started like this. Life sleeps in the mineral kingdom. Life is enveloped, like wrapped, is encapsulated in matter. So much that we are hardly aware of it. We cannot notice there is a life in it. Life dreams in the plant kingdom. Matter is not as rude as in the mineral kingdom, so life can be breaking free more and more, and life can now dream. Life awakens in the animal kingdom. Already it seems that life can show itself a little more and awakens. And life becomes self-conscious and supra-conscious in the human kingdom. So it is still enveloped, is still encapsulated in matter, but is getting conscience. But this is not very easy to get conscience of it. Why? Because even if it gains the power of becoming conscious, the human being must become conscious of who he or she really is. And this is not easy because it's caught by the obstacles of the personality. So what's that? We are like a piece of coal the black hole, you know what. But we have to become to be a giant. So inside of this piece of coal, there is something more. And we have to become aware of this. Okay? So, if the personality is the obstacle that doesn't let us go through it so easily, let us divide in 3 levels. We are going to divide our personality in 3 levels, like physical body, emotional body, and mental body or level, the lower mental body, okay? Our life is directed by the emotional body for a long time, very long time. The human being at the beginning was moved for by sensations like hunger, cold, heat. When the conscience is awakened on the emotional level, we can rebel against nature. That is, against the laws of the universe. And we can do quite a lot of harm because it is directed by desire. Desire is blind and only aims at the object of desire, regardless of the facts that it goes against the universal laws. In fact, most of the times we go against them, the universal laws. Desire and emotion are totally automatic in their operations. Later on, the consciousness awakens on the mental level, lower mental level yet. And we become aware of our thoughts and directing these thoughts. Hitherto, the mind is mined by desire yet. When an emotion arises, and therefore a desire arises, the mind automatically starts scheming how to get the object of the desire. And if for whatever reason, because it goes against the law or the established order, or what is convenient at that specific time, the mind starts thinking how to justify that action, and if it cannot find any reason for it, is going to justify inventing it. Is going to invent a reason. Just like that, automatically. That is what is called, we call passionate mind. Once our mind begins to stop being passionate, that is the beginning of the evolutionary process. We'll talk about this in a minute. When the mind gets free of the passions, and it's set, this stage we will call like the first light. We are seeing something a little bit clearer that illuminates the darkness of ignorance that we were immersed in up to the moment. Not knowing what the true meaning of life is, nor what we are here for. Now we have taken a step forward and can realize what the mind thinks about, how it thinks, how it works, and therefore how we can make the mind think what we want to think and consequently direct our thoughts slowly, but it's the beginning. Little by little, we acquire the power to manage our mind. We can observe our thoughts and direct them. Once we have reached this point, we are facing with our great opportunity. From now on, the whole evolution process in the human kingdom is carried out through the soul. The soul is the creator of the personality, and it learns and grows from its experiences. But it can only evolve when incarnated in the physical plane or level. Anyway, from the physical level, we cannot evolve. That is why being born is so important and life is so precious. Having a physical body, having the opportunity to live experiences, to learn and grow, is an invaluable gift. It is a unique opportunity. The opportunity we have here and now is the most important one. We will have many opportunities afterwards, but those are ones that still are to come. So I encourage everybody to leverage this life as a unique opportunity. Sanatana Dharma shows the way in the evolution process of the human kingdom. That is, since man incarnates for the first time until he completes his evolution and stops incarnating. There are several stages in the evolution arc. The first one is the evolution in mass. After the animal kingdom, the human being, we start with the evolution in mass. At first, man evolves in mass, living the same experiences as their fellow men. As he goes through wars, exodus, natural disasters, this way, his soul collects experiences which will result in a synthesis, and he will evolve due to this synthesis. After this, we have the probatory path. And during this path, the probatory path, the evolution will take place in smaller groups, which go through different tests as well. In this stage, the passionate mind starts purifying through the fulfillment of the Dharma Shastras. Dharma Shastras are the duties to fulfill by everybody on the basis of their social condition. By acting to fulfill your duty, the mind is forced to think in a different direction from that one of the desire. This is a system which is imposed by Sanatana Dharma in order to purify your mind and bring it to dispassion, through which it will take us to the next stage, to the path of discipleship. This path is carried out in small groups, quite small groups that work under a master's guide. The master appears when the disciple is ready. To find the inner master, you need to find the outer master, who is the one with the experimental knowledge of truth, and he can bear witness to it. The path of discipleship itself is divided into two stages, one for knowledge and the other one for purification of the personality. Along the first stretch, we get to know our bodies or levels and their tendencies. Once we know our mechanisms, we can work to overcome desire, build inner peace, and turn our senses inwards. This way, the personality is gradually purifying and yama consolidates, so that the personality can express the knowledge of the soul. In this stage, it's not that desire or emotion who is directing my life. Yet we start being directed by our soul. Once yama is consolidated, we will go to the next path, the path of initiation. At the moment when the disciple attains meditation and directly perceives the truth, he comes into the higher path of yoga, or path of initiation, which is the last stage of the evolution art. The path of initiation goes from the perception of truth to the realization of truth. Meditation is what opens the gate to the higher path of yoga. It is what leads to the experimental knowledge of truth, which occurs during samadhi or superconscious state. Becoming aware of oneself is yoga, union with the self. The enlightenment caused by the direct perception of the self is the first stage of the higher path of yoga. Meditation on the self leads us to perceive the individual self that dwells in our heart. And transcendental meditation leads us to the perception of the universal self that is in every being and everything. Once you know the truth, it is only surrendering to it that is left. When the personality has surrendered to the self can express through it, through the personality, and adoring the self is surrendering your emotions and thoughts and your actions to the realization of the self, which will lead to the last liberation. So, this code at the beginning in the mineral kingdom now has become to be a diamond. That's all I had to say. So if anyone has any questions or if I can help in anything, if I haven't been quite clear, I'm ready if I know the answer. Otherwise, I'll find out the answer. I have so many masters here.